basically I met my ex-business partner on a beach in Barcelona, and we figured out there was a massive need for a recruitment company that specialized solely in the SEO industry. And yeah, what we've done is we've built an industry-backed vetting process, and one of the things that we've done is we have a 1-year satisfaction on all placement guarantees. So we'll replace them for free. And that's candidate side and client side. So let's say the candidate 11 and a half months decides, you know what, I want to move on to the next role. We will still replace that person for the client, because again, I think recruitment's a two-way job. It's making sure both parties are completely aligned and they want to stay there for the long-term impact, or else I just feel like we haven't done a good job.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the podcast. Today, I am really excited to be joined by Josh Peacock, founder of SEO for Hire and Paid Media Jobs, who's built over 100 elite marketing teams for agencies that don't mess around. He's on a mission to fix recruitment in SEO and paid media by actually delivering operators who perform. Welcome to the podcast, Josh.
Thank you very much for having me, Chris. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we just had a brief chat before we came on, and Josh is in lovely Portugal, but I think I do a lot of these podcasts with a lot of people all over the world, and normally I'm complaining, but we've got great weather in the UK at the minute.
I don't know if I believe it. I was back in the UK like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and everybody told me I just missed a heat wave. I don't believe it. Every time I go back, it's not good weather.
Yeah, well, you have to like cherry pick those 2 or 3 days a year where it is good. But no, we are on the brink of a heat wave. It's going to hit 30 today, I think. So, yeah, I'm not as jealous as the wonderful Algarve sounds today. Josh, give us a quick intro. How did you get started in SEO and then like hiring for SEO and recruitment as well?
Absolutely. So we've been running SEO for Hire for coming up to 3.5 years now, which is pretty crazy to think about that. But basically, I met my ex-business partner on a beach in Barcelona, and he was in the SEO space. I was kind of the sales recruitment background, and we just kind of started getting close with each other and figured out there was a massive need for a recruitment company that specialized solely in the SEO industry. So as you know, it's pretty easy to fluff a few CVs, but within the SEO niche, you need to be able to test somebody. You need to actually understand what they're actually building. So that's kind of the birth of how we started. And fast forward 3.5 years now, we've worked with over 100 agencies. We've got some of our dream 100 clients that we sat down 3.5 years ago are kind of our clients now, which is great to see. Nice. And yeah, what we've done is we've built an industry-backed vetting process. We teams from anywhere from startups all the way to freelancers wanting to build a mini agency, all the way up to Fortune 500 companies and some of the biggest agencies in the US. And one thing that we do as well is I came from a recruitment background where it's kind of like a vulture method type of stuff. You just try and get a few people that tick a few boxes on the job description, put them forward. If you look on my bio in my LinkedIn or on my website, it says that I'm trying to fix the recruitment industry with ethics and focus. And I genuinely mean that. And one of the things that we've done is we have a 1-year satisfaction on all placement guarantees. So you won't find that in anybody else. That's how promising we are on the candidates we put forward. So yeah, that's a bit about the SEO for Hire. And then recently in January, we did the paid media jobs as well. So a lot of our clients would come to us and ask, because they're mostly digital marketing agencies, they'd say, would you help us on the paid media side? And it's something that we didn't specialize in. So I always said no. And I didn't want to dilute the brand that we had built. And luckily I found my co-founder who has like 8 years experience at like senior level paid media. He's unbelievable. We did a bit of consultancy back and forward, and now we've built that. And again, what's nice is that our client base for SEO for Hire has now quickly brought that into the paid media side as well. So that's just a bit quick recap on what we do. Nice.
That sounds awesome. You mentioned that you do a 12-month guarantee. Is that if they're not satisfied with the role that they've recruited from you, you won't charge them, or So
we'll replace them for free. And that's candidate side and client side. So let's say the candidate 11 and a half months decides, do you know what, I want to move on to the next role. We will still replace that person for the client. Because again, I think recruitment's a two-way job. It's not just finding a job for the candidate or finding a position for the client. It's making sure both parties are completely aligned and they want to stay there for the long-term impact, or else I just feel like we haven't done a good job. So yeah, that's what we do.
That's really cool. I've got a couple of friends that are in recruitment, and they're always making placements and then counting down through that like redemption period of like, okay, they've passed the X number of whatever we agreed in order for us to fully get paid. And then it's like, but I think that's a real sort of solid proposition to the people that you're working with. So you must be pretty confident in the people that you find and send.
Well, I think, Chris, like on that, I think a lot of other companies will just find that person, put them in the company, and then, maybe check up once or twice on them. So we try and do as much as we can after we've actually put that, let's say, that SEO strategist into that company. So we've got like onboarding docs that we put in there. We've got a load of resources. We check in on both sides. We'll do consulting calls back and forth. So again, we want to make sure that they stay there for as long as possible, because normally that just means they'll come back and do business with us down the line.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes sense. But Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, SEO is dead. So surely no one's currently hiring.
Yeah, no, we're out of the business. It's been dry for us for the last 6 months. No, since I started 3.5 years ago, it's been the exact same thing. I personally am the most excited about this new digital evolution that we're going into. But just to give you a recap, right? So literally what you said, hiring to me would be the biggest bottleneck to show that an industry's dead. Like, why would people be hiring? They'd be going out and using N8N and the things that we talked about before. They'd be going, well, why would they need to put a person in the seat anymore? But just to give you a brief recap, on Tuesday, we had 3 leads inbound. So all of our leads come inbound through the socials and the funnels that we build. We don't do any outreach anymore. And we had 3 leads that came in on Tuesday. And then last week, I think we had 6 and we signed all 6 of them. In terms of our actual business, we just made a pretty senior hire who started with us on Monday. So that's just kind of just to show that SEO is not dead. It's not going anywhere. It's just, and I hate to say it, I had Joe Davies on my podcast yesterday and I asked him about the future of it. And he was like, I hate to say the whole phrase that SEO is not dead. It's evolving, but that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. And like, you'll see these waves of social SEO is dead plastered across the different platforms, but then you'll see these like rebuttal posts where like total jobs data comes out or something like that, where actually search for or job listings for SEO positions is at an all-time high. So I think that is probably the more accurate reflection of the state of the industry.
Absolutely. But look, it's changing. Like the way that SEO was getting hired for 2 years ago has completely changed. Even 6 months ago, it's completely changed. So like, as you know, SEO to me is just a big experimenting game right now. So the clients that used to come to us and be like, right, well, these are the tick boxes that we need. Yes, some of them are still there, but it really has switched to, you have to know. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah, go for it.
You have to know your shit. But on a soft skills perspective, you need to really, really understand clients. You need to understand bottom line. You need to be able to talk within business impact. And you can't just go in and kind of jargon your way anymore. Like it's not a nice to have anymore. You need to understand what you're actually doing on a daily basis and how that affects the bottom line. Does it equal more signups? Does it reduce churn? And again, like talking about AI, like every client of ours that's coming to us now, it's like, we need to have people that are switched on. And 6 months ago, it was like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to have if they're like mucking about and like building a workflow or doing whatnot. Now it's like, we can't have anybody that's like that at all. They need to not only have dive deep within AI, but like, it can't just be like, oh, yeah, no, I use ChatGPT for a few things. It needs to be deep level work. Like, what are you building to improve your efficiency? How are you increasing that bottom line? And like, what actual stories can you bring to the table? And again, rattling on about that, we have some of our candidates, again, I feel like a lot of people are quite lazy when they're doing interviews. They're still in the old school mindset of, I'll put a CV forward and I'll shine bright on my interview, right? And shine bright to them is just showing up and answering questions. Whereas we have candidates and we kind of try and weaponize that interview for them, that they'll absolutely get it, where they're able to just, do you mind if I share my screen and just bring you through, let's say, a custom GPT I built the other day to help client X solve X problem? And I think those are the people that are always going to be in need.
Yeah. And I think as well, that's indicative of a good SEO anyway. Testing and just being in the weeds, wanting to like go crazy with shit to break a system. So that's an inherent skill you want anyway.
Well, even on that, Chris, I've got a cool story. About 2 years ago, we've a client in the Netherlands, quite a big company. They just got bought by a US acquisition company, but they wanted somebody with in-house SaaS experience, right? And I think my team put through like 9 people forward, but they put one person that didn't have in-house SaaS experience, right? He was like a freelancer mucking about with a few things, but he was just a killer. We put 10 people forward, including that guy. And before the interview started, he just came on the interview and he said, do you mind if I just share my screen? I did a mini audit, spent like 2-3 hours last night. And this is for his first stage interview, right? So this guy is like not being lazy. He's like, I really want this job. And he was like, do you mind if I just share my screen? And he went through it. And the feedback we got was like, from that client was like, we've never had that done before.
Really?
It's just about going above and beyond and like not looking as an interview. Again, because you have to be competitive. It's the same with business. You have to, how are you going to show up and be better than everybody else?
So let's shift gears a bit. What roles are people looking for now? We've talked about sort of that skill set that I think employers are looking for, and how there's been that shift from it would be nice if they had some AI stuff to like they need to be into this. But specifically, like what roles are in demand? What sorts of positions are the bigger companies looking to hire?
Yeah, so I'd say about a year, 2 years ago, we'd always have like very specialist roles in terms of, we need somebody in and out tech SEO, or we need, a content manager, or even like link building specialists or outreach specialists. Now, what we're finding is that yes, the speciality is still a need within the role, but it's kind of just morphing into like an SEO strategist. So out of those 9 roles that I said that came in on Tuesday and then last week, I think 5 or 6 of them were SEO strategist roles or senior SEO strategist roles. So I think a lot more companies, because again, speaking back on the N8N and the building, like, yeah.
Just to recap what we were saying at the start, I said that I was going to mention that we're seeing all over social media that you can replace a 10-man marketing team at $500,000 a year with like one mega 100-node N8N agent, which will just run your entire department. So just for context, that's what I said to you at the start.
Yeah. And like the way I see that is, I think that has a place so let's say where I am in Portugal, right? Everybody just does real estate, like everybody, but like they don't really do social media stuff. They don't really, like, it's literally just through network. Like I guarantee if I train myself up on that or train somebody up on that, got in contact with those guys and be like, look, I could bring in X amount of leads through this AI automation flow, through N8N, through whatever flow it is, then it's a no-brainer. They've got the money to spend on it. But for the established agencies that are out there that have got real life clients that they need to, they need to fill the outcomes for that, then I don't think there's any stress in that disappearing anytime soon. I think where there is going to be scarcity is those big agencies. I'm not going to name them, but we all kind of know them. They hire and they're like, we've got a blacklist of clients that we won't work with, and they're on that because they just bring people in and then they churn them. But we will put some of their candidates through our vetting process, and they've just been doing recommendations for the last 3 years. They haven't been like building anything. They haven't been in the trenches. So I think those really bloated agencies and companies are going to kind of dissipate, and I think we are starting to see that. And most of the time when you see, I don't mean this to everybody, but when you see the big companies, it's like, oh, they've made X amount redundant. A lot of the times it is those agencies where they've just been, they just got sign off years ago. They decided, okay, we just need to put bums in seats, but didn't really test them for that. So yeah, to answer your question, I think it's more overall strategists that are really looking again at the overall business impact that they can have on the company. And again, on that, like client communication's a massive thing that our clients are looking for now. Whereas it used to be a nice to have an SEO that could also jump on client calls. And because we work with such a mix of clients, we could have one client that has a pod structure where they don't have any account managers, and the actual SEOs that are building speak specifically to the clients. And then we've got clients that have like a team of account managers that have to upsell and do everything else. So I think we're seeing a big uptake in clients wanting, we can put somebody in front of our client, they'll be able to upsell them a bit, not even just on sales, but they'll be able to explain in layman terms what they're actually doing and how that directly impacts the business bottom line.
So actually having like that personable, non-introverted, being a bit of an extrovert as well, I guess is another bow in the cap or feather in the cap, whatever you say. Yeah,
which is hard, Chris, because like as you know, there is a lot. And not to like down talk it, but there is a lot of SEOs that are sat behind a computer all day that don't talk to anybody. So it is hard to vet people for that. But again, we're seeing a lot more SEOs actively try and maybe go out to events or maybe attend webinars or like hang out with more
leave
colleagues.
Their bedroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, so in terms of the actual like current search environment that we're in, are the companies that are hiring for roles now, would you say, are they segregating out SEO with large language model optimization, or are they looking to hire roles that are going to do like a holistic search optimization throughout the company? How are they approaching that now? I mean, this is what everybody's talking about now. Like, we need to be optimizing multi-platform and in the large language models, which actually doesn't go against SEO, because if you're doing all of the right stuff, that's just going to be good for your SEO anyway. But how are they actually looking at that in terms of hiring?
Yeah. So again, so a lot of the times clients will come to us and they'll just be like, right, well, we need to start looking at LLMs, and they don't know either how to vet for that. So like, we've obviously gone through, chatted to a load of industry experts and see how we can build on that. And there's a few things that we do with SEOs just to kind of figure that out. And one of them is like, we just start with their worldview. So how they're actually viewing AI. So like things like why less traffic is coming in from Google and what that actually means. How awareness is getting easier, but clicks are getting harder. So things like that. How there's SEOs out there that are basically building their own moats. So again, like speed of learning is a massive thing, Chris. So how are they actually prioritizing speed of learning, not just speed of output, like those type of things. But in terms of the LLMs, again, it comes back to the experimentation. So for instance, we signed quite a big flight company last week, and we must have spent about 10 minutes with their digital marketing director just talking about how important it is for somebody to be able to experiment, fail from it, learn from the failures, and just keep on going. And it was like 10 minutes of talking. Like, we can't have somebody that's just scared just to go at it. And because it's like a big company, they're like, we've hired people in the past that just think, because it's a big company, there's a lot of shareholders involved, there's an expectation to be at the top of your level, that they're too scared to like go out and experiment with things. So we're literally just talking for about 10 minutes about how, again, with like LLMs and like testing things on Reddit, or testing things, again, like even just social search, like how do we, because as I said at the start of this, I feel like right now, 2 years ago, we had a vetting process where it was pretty simple questions and an assessment, right? Now it's like, how do we test how well this person's able to adapt? How well are they able to look at the future of SEO? We had a thing that, like, I feel like the old model used to be research, write, publish, and wait. The new model is more around create, personalize, activate, and iterate. So we need to find people that are just an open mindset to that.
Long gone are the days where you could just go through the motions and let stuff happen. It is really, but it's almost like I'm so bullish on, I think it's probably only been in the past few weeks as well, where it was SEO. That's the way it was done, the way it was done. Then it was like, AI is going to change everything. It's going to destroy SEO. Everything's dead. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. And now it feels like we're in like where SEO was like 20 years ago. It's like the rules haven't even been written yet, and we can optimize across everywhere. And I suppose the people that are going to succeed are, in terms of the people that want to work in that environment, are the ones that are going to test and experiment and not be scared. And then the companies that are going to benefit from that are going to be the ones that hire that particular sort of talent, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, really, really interesting times. Okay, so how do you feel like link building and some of these more traditional forms of SEO are like playing out? Content production, link building, are these still things which companies that are hiring are looking for, and are they still actively working on it? Like, how do we see those more traditional forms of SEO taking shape?
Yeah, I will say that, a year, 2 years ago, we had a lot more companies come to us, that, especially on the content side, where we would have roles like their full job, not copywriters, but more like high level content managers. We used to have a lot of them. We haven't had one in, I'd say 2 years. But saying that, last week we signed SEMrush, and we're working with Backlinko, and a lot of them it's like high editorial level content wise. But again, that content's changing. It's not just the churning out of 200 blogs. It's how you getting on socials. And YouTube SEO for me is one thing that we're hearing come up like a lot right now. So from the content perspective, I think it's changing over a lot to that. But yeah, I'd say the demand for that, I can only say from our point of view, from my companies, is definitely decreasing. From the link side, it's interesting, because again, we used to have a lot of outreach specialist roles. We used to have like purely link building roles, but like we for our clients do a lot of digital PR placements. And it's funny to see it as well, because when we started probably a year and a half doing that, it was all of our UK clients that wanted digital PR specialists. And at the time, like our clients in Australia and in the US, digital PR was like way behind, like way behind. But I feel like we're starting to see that big boom within the US now, and especially within Australia. And to be fair, I think the same with SEO. I think UK is a lot, I don't want to say further on, but the average talent in the UK for SEO and digital PR for us has always been like miles ahead for US and Australia. And that's why we actually have clients in Australia that will look at us for SEOs or digital PRs and will literally relocate them down to Sydney and Melbourne for some of our clients. And then for the US, we kind of pitch to our clients that, let's say it's a freelance role or a 1099, that we can find you somebody that's like well below the salary that you're asking for in the UK that's at the top of their game. But yeah, I think digital PR is something that still hasn't really taken off. And I think that whole brand mentioning and everything, I think within this like AI mode is something that's really, really important.
That's part of the reason why I'm so bullish, because I mean, we are essentially a digital PR link building agency. So if you strip that right back, it's a link selling agency, albeit, white hat editorially earned digital PR links. But links has always been something which one could fear could disappear at any point as being something significant. But as we're now seeing that, like, actually building true authority and brand mentions, and even brand mentions maybe even being more powerful than links and the LLMs and stuff, it's like a complete reset. And and I agree with you as well about, I think digital PR is very much like a traditional like UK activity, and it's more difficult for those other markets perhaps to understand. But once they see the benefits, they just want in. But we're starting to see talent outside of just the UK, because again, it comes down to those sort of inherent skills of the person that you hire, isn't it? If they're creative and they want to get their hands dirty, then I suppose anybody can achieve in a role. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And again, this is something that we've said to our clients, that we feel like the new skill set barbell. So the example we give is you're lifting a heavy barbell. On one side, the heavy weights are the creative, the sharp ideas, the viral instincts, the brand first thinking, and the high taste, which is kind of what you've just mentioned. And then on the other side is more like the engineer thinkers. So the people that want to build systems, the ones that are automation heavy for like workflows and everything over that. And they're just obsessive about deploying like AI at scale. Yeah. So if you're able to, first of all, if you're able to be that person that's got both of those skill sets, like you are like in the top 5% of everyone. But if you're able to like have two of those people on your team, it's just it's a no-brainer that you're going to win.
And that's what, actually going back to like the introduction that I did for you, I really liked how you said building elite marketing teams that don't mess around, and actually operators that are going to like move the needle for the company that you place them in. One quick question. Are you seeing any particular emerging markets for talent? So I know South Africa, Eastern Europe. Are there any particular countries that you're quite excited about where you're seeing talent come out that's hot right now?
Yeah, again, I can only speak from what our experience is. We've placed quite a lot of South Africans, and in fact, some of my team are down from South Africa. Nice. I love South Africans. They are very, very good communicators. They're very good at thinking, and yeah, I feel like they're very good operators. The one thing I do say about some South Africans is that I don't want to say it's in their nature, in their culture, but they'll lie to you without lying to you, if that makes sense. So they're like, again, I've got a load of friends I met in Manchester that are South Africans, and we've joked about this, that they're like people pleasers. So they'll say something to you and you have to be like, you have to ask another few questions on it. So that's kind of within our vetting process. If we've been asked to hire down in South Africa, that's something that we really, really go into. The other thing is, South America. So
okay,
we work with the likes of Brain Labs, one of the biggest media agencies in the US. So we've actually built some of their SEO team down in Buenos Aires in Argentina. I'm actually heading down there in November for a month, which I'm excited for. But the only thing is, again, is a lot of, and we've done that several times down in Argentina and in those kind of South American countries. The only thing is that for client facing, you want somebody, especially we've had a few examples where they're working with like big companies within the US, and this person will be client facing. It's hard to find people with really, really good English. They might understand SEO in and out, and they might be able to, do a bit of digital PR, do a bit of everything else. But in terms of as I said earlier about client communication being a really, really big factor within our vetting process, it's very hard to find those people that, again, can completely understand you and be able for us to understand them.
So are you the most of the placements that you do then is you currently, would you say, UK talent?
I'd say about 75% of our clientele and candidates are US
Oh,
now,
okay.
which is cool because like we started in the UK. All our client base was UK side. When I started building out our team internally, probably about 2.5, 3 years ago, I just love the US. I always wanted to, that was the goal, right? We didn't have any clients in the US. That was the goal. And now, yeah, I'd say about 75% of our business is within the US. We do have a few clients down. We've got maybe 6 or 7 clients down in Australia, and 2 or 3 of them are the ones that I said that we actually find UK talent and relocate them down there. But yeah, that's kind of the way our business is split.
Okay. So it's really interesting to think that, content writers were, well, very, very, very good content writers. And you mentioned Backlinko being a client. I love their content. Very, very good content writers that have kept their jobs. And I think they will do for, the foreseeable future. But yeah, content writers that could easily be replaced with cents on the dollar AI writers meant that industry pretty quickly, people lost their jobs a lot. And then the shift in what we're seeing with these automation tools, I guess means that we're on the verge where a lot of roles or departments could shrink and a lot of that stuff could be consolidated. So I'm interested to know what the sort of, aside from sort of content writers, what roles have you seen diminished the most? And then where have you seen the biggest rise, the biggest shift in terms of like people hiring? And I imagine what you're going to say is that's become more of a holistic hire. So hiring for like SEOs that they and also we want them to be able to do AI automation or be interested in it and test it. But if you've got any insight into that, I'd be really interested.
Yeah, it's interesting because just on your bit about the content side decreasing a lot, I think copywriters and stuff are still well needed, right? I'm not saying that a lot of our clients are asking for that, but there's a guy I follow, I think his name's Copywriting Chris. I don't know if you follow him on YouTube, but he does a load of podcasts in Austin. But I was listening to him, he had Dan Martell on recently, and they were talking about it. It was like, we can sit here and be like, oh, AI is going to replace everybody's job within content and within SEO and everything. But it's like, copywriting is one of those skills that's so, so important. And it's like, okay, so if AI is able to get you the best copywriting skills, why aren't your ads, like why aren't you making 10x on them by now? If that is the case, that you still need people to come in at the top level and be like, okay, well, there's certain ways, especially if you've got like 20 years experience within it of like copywriting language and changing subject lines or changing CTAs, whatever it is, or even just the placements of ads. I still think there is needed for people at that level. But moving on from that.
Just to jump in on that, I would agree with that. We had Dave Harland on the show a few months ago from Copy or Die. And it probably just levels the playing field to allow everybody to do reasonable copywriting with the use of AI. But then some of the things that he was talking about in terms of like really getting that brand messaging across and having it consistently across all of your channels, and then like agonizing for weeks over just the perfect turn of phrase in an ad. And yeah, I mean, there is a real art to it. And yeah, if you want to really succeed in that, then a good copywriter is going to put you head and shoulders above the rest.
Absolutely. And like, even if we go into like a bit more about LinkedIn, like I'm sure you see AI content everywhere on LinkedIn. Like they're probably using these LinkedIn frameworks to, convert your A player ICP or whatever it is, but like they're not. And the stuff that's being put out is like a load of crap, and you can see how bad it is just by scaling it. So again, I think moving forward, it's going to be even more important for people to get their hands dirty and actually have real life experience, that they're able to do the 95% of the work using AI, but then come in from a top level and look at it and be like, oh, well, let's make a few changes. Let's add maybe a personal story to it, make it a bit more real. Because again, in a day today where there's just AI garbage out there everywhere, I think that's how you're going to really, really stand out.
Yeah, 100% agree. Josh, this has been absolutely fascinating. As we wrap up, what are your sort of short to medium to long-term views on the SEO industry? Google's AI mode is going to probably be launched worldwide in the coming weeks. What are you thinking is, some quick sort of ideas on where we're going?
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. I'm excited that we're luckily in a place where we work with some of the biggest agencies in the US, like all over the world, doing some really exciting things. I'm excited that they're actually getting buy-in from a lot of their stakeholders, so they're ready to go. And I'm excited to work with them so we can leapfrog all their competitors. And yeah, as I said, I'm super opportunistic about what we're going through. I think if you could look back at history, I'm not going to use all the metaphors that everybody else is using, but we've gone through these kind of times before. So it's literally just all about improving your skill set, becoming better, 1% better every single day, and just having a bright, positive view on the way things are. And if you are in a group with people that are, maybe looking at different career opportunities and being like, right, we need to get up SEO. I promise you can find the people that are really excited, that are testing and that are building and that are going to make a lot of money and a lot of moves within the next 5-10 years. So surround yourself with those kind of people.
Great advice. Josh, if somebody wants to hunt you down and enlist your services to hire an elite operator, where can they find you?
Awesome. So to find SEO for Hire, we're just www.seoforhire.co. To find paid media jobs, we're www.paidmediajobs.com. But I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. If you just type in Josh Peacock, you'll probably find me there. And I'm active on YouTube as well, if you just want to type my name there.
That's awesome. So if someone wants to write an AI response to one of your LinkedIn comments, they can just go and track you down on there.
Please don't.
Oh, it's becoming exhausting, isn't it? You think,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Immediate block.
Yeah. Good. That's a great idea. Josh, it's been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Chris.